Well, good morning. Today is Martin Luther King Day. Many places are closed, but the school is open, and I thought it would be appropriate to read a biography of a person of color. And anyway, I recently read one. I read a biography of Henry Aaron, also known as Hank Aaron. The first person to break Babe Ruth's home run record. And it's part of a series called Legendary Athletes. Just let me read you a brief synopsis of what this series does. Sports are not always about the score at the end of the game. Some athletes are able to transcend sport into other parts of life, using their fame and fortune to impact the world around them. This series introduces some of the greatest athletes of all time whose influences on sport and society have lasted long after their playing days ended. And this series is really good because I actually saw these individuals play when they were in their sport. And Hank Aaron stands out to my mind. The game that he broke, the game that he broke Babe Ruth's home run record was I was in high school, and I was watching the game. Vin Scully and Tony Kubek were calling the game, and so it's a very vivid moment for me. So I'm going to read you the first chapter, Hank Aaron, groundbreaking baseball slugger. There's this picture. Here's the cover of the book, and you can find it in the library. And I know my previous reads have been fiction, but it's good. It's a good thing to read nonfiction, and especially biographies. And this time of year, with Martin Luther King and learning of the diversity in American history, is just an important thing. And I have a daughter I have a granddaughter who is a person of color, and so I'm very sensitive to the issue. Now, when you're reading this biography, you're going to come across the term Negro Baseball League, and at that particular point in time, I think maybe it was meant to be a little derogatory. But at that time, when the league was formed, that was an acceptable term for a person of color. And just so you know, personally, I like to use the phrase person of color or people of color. I don't like the word Negro. I don't like the word black. I don't like the word African American. I just prefer person or people of color. And that includes a lot of I know that includes a lot of people, but for me that is just a kinder way of indicating differences. So the chapter 1, the new king. As Henry Aaron stepped into the batter's box on the night of April 8, 1974, he felt the weight of the world upon his shoulders. For almost 2 years, Aaron had been closing in on baseball's record for career home runs. He was exhausted by the chase and tired of answering questions about it, and he was sickened by the hateful letters and death threats he had received because he was an African American, trying to break the record of a white superstar. Yet even while under tremendous pressure, and at the ages of 39 and 40, Aaron continued to be one of the best hitters in baseball. Now, as he stood at the plate wearing his familiar number 44 for the Atlanta Braves, Aaron was tied with the great Babe Ruth with 714 home runs. More than 53,000 fans in Atlanta Stadium and a national television audience watched as Aaron focused his gaze on Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher Al Downing. There were no doubts with a runner on first base at the bottom of the fourth inning as Aaron methodically took his practice swings. When the left-handed Downing delivered his first pitch, it was low and in the dirt for ball one. Downing's next pitch was a high fastball, right over the plate. It was the kind of pitch Aaron had been crushing for 20 years in the major leagues. So Aaron swung, whipping his bat through the strike zone with his powerful arms and wrists. In an instant, the ball rocketed on a high arc toward left center field. Dodgers left fielder Bill Buckner and center fielder Jimmy Wynn raced back to the outfield fence as they tracked the ball, converging near the 385-foot mark. Buckner climbed the fence in a vain attempt to catch the ball, but it sailed over his head. It was a home run, the 715th of Aaron's career. At precisely 9:07 on a chilly night in Georgia, Henry Aaron was the new home run champion of baseball. As Aaron went into his home run trot around the bases, the stadium erupted in cheers. Fireworks exploded in the night sky, and the number 715 appeared on a giant message board beyond center field. By the time he reached second base, the usually stoic Aaron had a big smile as he was congratulated by Dodgers second baseman Davey Lopez and shortstop Bill Russell. Two enthusiastic young fans jumped onto the field and ran with Aaron between second and third base, slapping him on the back in jubilation. As Aaron rounded third and headed for home, the entire Braves team was waiting for him. The game came to a halt as Aaron was first hoisted into the air by his teammates. Then, congratulated by his wife Billy, his father Herbert, his mother Estella, and the rest of his family, his mother Erin said later, giving him the strongest, hardest hug of his life. Then, as Aaron stepped to a microphone to say a few words to the fans, he looked as if the weight he had been carrying for so long had simply evaporated. "I just thank God it's all over," he said. Although his home run had been historic, Aaron seemed far more relieved than happy. Baseball's new home run king was eager to step out of the spotlight. For most of his career, he'd been a quiet, splendid player who'd been overshadowed by more charismatic stars such as Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle. He looked forward to again just playing baseball without all the attention. "Right now it feels like just another home run," he said hours after the Braves had won the game 7-4. "I felt all along if I got a strike I could hit it out. I just wanted to touch all the bases on this one." Hate mail and death threats. The chase had taken its toll, and Aaron was mentally and spiritually exhausted by the time he hit home run number 715. Though society and baseball had evolved a great deal since Aaron left the Negro Leagues to sign a contract with the Braves organization in 1952, he was subjected to the ugliness of racism as he stalked Ruth's record. After Aaron hit his 600th home run in 1971, it became apparent to most fans that he would have a shot at the most hallowed record in baseball. Ruth had transformed the game with his power and larger-than-life personality during the 20s and 30s. The Sultan of SWAT had achieved legendary status. Many believed his home run record was unbreakable. Yet, as Aaron passed 600 home runs, he began to get hate mail and death threats from people who did not want Ruth's record to fall to a black man. "Dear Hank Aaron," read one of the letters, "retire or die. You'll be in Shea Stadium July 6th through the 8th, and in Philly July 9th to the 11th. You will die in one of those games. I'll shoot you in one of them." Read another, "You are not going to break this record established by the great Babe Ruth if I can help it. Whites are far more superior than blacks. My gun is watching your every black move." As Aaron continued to play, his life changed. Though thousands of supportive fans filled many stadiums on Braves road trips, countering the nastiness, he had to be cautious. He received a police escort to and from the ballpark and was always registered under a false name at hotels. He hired a bodyguard. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, opened his mail and provided protection for his daughter, who was away at college in Atlanta. He even stayed in temporary lodging rather than in his home. Aaron said the stress of the chase and the fear he felt made it the worst part of his long career. It should have been the most joyous time of my life, he said years later, but it was a fishbowl life, hell for 2.5 years. So as Aaron prepared to play against the Dodgers on April 8 in the Braves' 1974 home opener, he was determined to be patient, get a pitch he could handle, and hit it over the wall. 4 days earlier, on April 4, he had tied the record with a 714th home run in the first inning of the season's first game, on the road against the Cincinnati Reds. Now he had a chance to set the record in front of his own fans on a night when the Braves were preparing for something special. Aaron's father Herbert threw out the ceremonial first pitch. A huge map of the United States in the shape of an American flag was painted on the grass in center field. Famous entertainer Pearl Bailey sang the national anthem. Signs everywhere proclaimed support for Aaron, including one that read, "Move over, babe." In his first at-bat of the night in the second inning, Aaron walked. In his next at-bat, he hit the ball 400 feet, 122 meters, into the baseball record book. His ordeal was over. Hours later, in the clubhouse, after he had received a call of congratulation from President Richard Nixon, Aaron could smile. I feel I can relax, he said. I feel my teammates can relax, and I think I can have a great season. And here's a picture of him addressing an audience. And so that is the first chapter of Hank Aaron, Groundbreaking Baseball Slugger. And like I said, you're going to learn things in here that are going to be a little troubling. The terms Negro, African American, are terms, black, are going to be terms in here that are going to make you cringe. But reading through this and understanding what a person of color went through to break a great milestone record is something that you can learn from and be understanding and increase your relationship in the concept of diversity. But hey, don't take my word for it.